By now, you've probably heard of Chery. It's one of the fastest growing automotive brands in Australia, and this is its latest flagship model. It's called the Tiggo 9. It's the biggest and most expensive model it's offered so far. You'd have to agree, it does look quite nice, elegant. It's got some nice curves, but it's not too awkward or over-designed. For me, just these corner clusters are a little bit confusing. They've got lights, LEDs, and it's got performance written there. They don't actually do anything. There's no intake. So yeah, they're just fake vents, but that's pretty common these days. The front end just has a nice pouncing nose, traditional grille for Chery's latest models, nice angular headlights, and yeah, a big slab-like body. These wheels are quite nice as well, 20-inch. They've got a bit of Mercedes Maybach about them, just in the design. Nice center cap. They're wrapped in 245/50 Cooper tyres. So it is good to see they don't have some cheap and nasty tyres you've never heard of. Power comes from a 1.5 litre turbo petrol plug-in hybrid system, developing a combined 315 kilowatts and 580 newton meters. That's matched up to a hybrid 3-speed automatic transmission with all-wheel drive. Very impressive outputs, especially for this class. But having power is one thing, stability and body control is another. I'm just going to give you a little bit of a conclusion here. This is actually quite well sorted. They've tried hard, or I can tell that they've tried hard. Managing weight, but also providing comfort and a bit of handling is a hard balance. It usually requires lots of investment and time for engineering and tuning. You have a look at vehicles like the Ford Ranger Raptor or even the Porsche Taycan. They prove that you can have both. You can have very good comfort, but also excellent stability and handling. It is possible, but it costs a lot of money. This, it seems like they've spent a bit to try and get that balance right. The ride is a little bit jittery on the smaller bumps like road connections and reflectors and so on, but the offshoot is, or the side effect, or the benefit is, when you're on a winding road or a mountain country road or something like that, which we have a lot of in Australia, you've got actually pretty good stability. The body doesn't wobble all over the place. That's probably the biggest criticism I have with these new brand vehicles. By new brand, I mean brands that haven't been around for 50, 60 years like some of the others. They always, well, not always, but they're sort of a bit wobbly and a bit soft, which is great if you're in the city. That's totally fine. But if you encounter a country road or something like that, it just starts to come apart a little bit. And I think with our roads, we don't have consistent corners. We've got like double apex. By that I mean you come around a corner and then suddenly it gets tighter, or it opens up a little bit, then it comes back again. You've got bumps on the middle of the corner. So you need, I think, a bit of stability and a bit of body control. You need some level of sportiness. And I think that they've tried to do that with this model. It's actually, yeah, not too bad, but we'll go for a drive in a minute and I'll show you. There's only one variant on sale in Australia, the Ultimate. It's a pretty high spec model. It's based on a new T2X platform, kind of superseding the old T1X platform. It measures 4.8 meters long, which is about 200 millimeters shorter than a Toyota Kluger. Reason I'm referencing a Toyota Kluger is because everyone knows what a Kluger is. Just gives you a bit of an idea of its size. So yeah, a Kluger is about 5 meters long. This is 4.8. And that sort of shows in some areas. Firstly, the boot space. It's not bad when you've got all the seats down, but when you've got all the seats up, as you can see, there's not that much room left over. You might get, the kids' school bags in there, and that's about it. Whereas some will offer a little bit more space. And the sidewalls, as usual with these modern or new age brands, they really stick out. There's no, like, what's behind there? Why can't that just go in a bit further and just give you a little bit more space? The third row is tightly packed in there. It's not one of the biggest in this class, but totally fine for kids or temporary use, which is, let's face it, probably what's going to be, that's the main benefit of a vehicle like this. You're not going to use them every single day with adults. But yeah, about 140 litres left over there. Again, for example, a Kluger will have over 200 litres with all 3 rows up. So if you are looking for absolute space, there are other options out there that offer a little bit more. Fortunately, the middle row does slide on rails, so you can adjust where you want the most leg room, just to open up the rear if you want to. But if you don't want to, you can slide this back and maximize the middle row. And it's pretty good in here. I've got enough leg room, and this seat is it's rolled forward just a little bit. You've got climate controls down there, multiple USB charging ports, climate vents and vents on the pillar, which is great to see, and a nice big panoramic sunroof with a flip down armrest and cup holders. Jumping in the third row, I'll see if I can get in. I do like that seat mechanism. It sort of flips up and slides, although it is a little bit heavy. So you've got kids, they probably won't be able to do it themselves. Yeah, so as you can see, it's pretty small and pretty tight in here. My head's actually touching the ceiling just. I'm only 170 centimeters. So definitely for kids only, really. And my knees are hard up against the back of the seat, although you can slide that forward a little bit to open up more room. But yeah, this doesn't seem like the most spacious in this specific class. You could say this is kind of like a Mitsubishi Outlander 7-seater almost. It's got more room than that, but that's a mid-sizer. So this is kind of meant to be a large SUV. And yeah, it's just a little bit, the seat back is pretty upright too. Oh, you can actually recline the third row. So that does open up a little bit more room, kind of because you're leaning back. But it does mean my head is going to be close to the tailgate once it does drop down, because it's right at the end of the ceiling line. But yeah, this is not the most spacious, but it is a 7-seater. And then up at the front, you've got what seems to be the standard these days, especially for Chinese vehicles, twin screens on the dash. So you've got like a laptop on that side and a smaller screen for the driver cluster. The main screen is pretty easy to use. It's got nice crisp graphics. You've got this main menu option down here, brings up all of your apps. So that's all pretty straightforward. Then your vehicle settings there, your drive modes, all of your safety systems you can play around with, turn on and off. And then your drive modes as well, eco, normal, sport. And then you can configure your battery. So when you start the vehicle, hit the power saving mode if you want to charge the battery. At the moment, I've got it on 40%. You've got a 34 kilowatt hour battery providing an electric range of 170 kilometers, which is very impressive for a plug-in hybrid SUV, especially in this class. It means that you could, theoretically drive to work and back every day, or depending on how far you live from work, but every day, all week, running on electric power alone. So it's basically an electric vehicle if you want it to be, but you've still got the petrol engine to back you up and provide even more range. Just coming back to those driver assistance systems though, so yeah, lane departure warning, emergency lane assist, and all this other stuff, speed limit assist. What I find most annoying is this does not come with a start button. So as soon as you get in, it basically starts when you put it in drive or you put your foot on the brake and everything will start up. But it just means, and these are all your options there, it just means that as soon as I get off this seat, it all resets. So you go through, program all your safety systems in, that configure it the way you like it, get out to check the letters on the top of the driveway or something like that, or get something out of the boot, or attend to a child in the back. It all resets back to default. I think the way forward is driver profiles, where you just set up your driver profile, you still got the double push confirm or whatever the ANCAP wants, but you get in and you can just go bang and it stays that way. But I think you do need a start button. There is a way you can sort of force turn this off, but I can't figure out the way that you can just leave it on. It always turns off as soon as I get up off this seat, which, yeah, I just find super frustrating. There's nothing wrong with a start button in my opinion. It's not inconvenient. I don't get in and go, oh, I've got to start the thing. Like, how annoying is that? Not very at all. You do have some physical controls down here for the windows and the EV mode and HEEV mode, so that is good. You've got a wireless phone charger, 50 watt, and it is vented, and some storage underneath the console as well. I've got some tape over the driver monitoring camera because I find it really annoying, but it is a good system in that you put tape over the camera, it just says it once when you drive off, camera is obstructed or something, and that's it. It doesn't throw up any other warnings, it doesn't beep at you constantly. It actually just remains quiet, which is great. All right, we'll go for a drive now and see how it handles. Keen to show you the sort of ride quality and that balance between stability and comfort, and then we'll do the performance test later on as well. And I'll make sure the battery is quite high for the performance test, just so we get the maximum out of it. To start off, let's just put it straight into sport mode. I've got the ESC turned off as well and see what's what, because 315 kilowatts seems like an exciting package to me. Now, most of the time it is running like an EV, so you won't hear the petrol engine hardly at all. And even when it does kick in, it is a very quiet unit. That's full power. Awesome power distribution with the all-wheel drive system there. So that is good to see that it is sure-footed and kind of fail-safe. You get some inexperienced young one in the car, they turn everything off. It's not gonna, snap sideways suddenly or anything surprising. Down through this tight, twisty section, downhill, puts a lot of pressure on the outside tyres, got a bit of tyre squeal there. You can actually throw the weight around a little bit and, yeah, get the tail to just kick out just a little bit, or at least, yeah, get you in line to exit the corner. Very surprising for this style of vehicle. This is not trying to be a sports car, but yeah, it is good to see with all that power they have worked on the dynamics to try and make it just very well balanced, even when you are behaving like a bit of an idiot with everything turned off and in sport mode and all of that. Definitely very quick though. It feels fast, especially, you know, lugging around that 2.3 ton weight. It's got that sort of G-force effect where it just feels much quicker than you might expect. There's a kind of contrast. The tyres are pretty good actually. They're not bad. They're not the best tyres out there, but not bad considering you've got all that power and trying to manage that weight. So down through here is a lot of bumps. Usually unsettles the back end in particular. This is remaining pretty neutral actually. It's not bouncing all over the place. Stable. I've still got good control of the direction. Yeah, not bad at all. There's not much steering feel, like it just feels a little bit numb, but I do have an understanding of that sort of weight shifting and even the back end sort of being unweighted, and I can apply power and kind of just kick it out a little bit. So that is some communication coming through. So that was applying power at the wrong time just to see what happened. Didn't push understeer. There was a bit of squeal and a bit of inside wheel spinning going on at the front. As to be expected though, because as I said, I just put the power down at the wrong time. Let's see how we go around this big, long left-hander. So even then, the back end was kind of kicking, just slightly moving outwards, and the front end was able to tuck in a bit tighter. So that's with power down as well. That wasn't any weight shifting going on. That was actually just the all-wheel drive system adjusting on the go. Yeah, I think if you put some decent tyres on this, this would actually handle pretty good for this style of vehicle anyway. But yeah, there's no question about its speed and performance. This is a quick package, no doubt about it. There's not much sound. You can hear a kind of electric whining sound very faintly in the distance. Full power. The gearbox is kind of unusual in that it doesn't go through gears. It pretty much drives like an electric vehicle. It's just higher speeds. You can kind of feel it go into the second gear or the third gear, but it's not like a normal gearbox. Okay, for the way back down, I'll just put it back into the normal mode and drive it. Well, like how most people were gonna drive this thing, and see how it behaves in terms of comfort and refinement. Obviously very quiet, being predominantly electric. Not too much road noise and road roar even on this coarse surface. And yeah, the suspension is just a little bit jittery on fine bumps, like if I hit these little reflectors here, you can kind of, well, you didn't really hear that one, but yeah, there is a bit of sort of when you go over little bumps, and you can feel them as well. But I would prefer that if it means no sloppiness and wobbliness when you do start to sort of wind up the speed a little bit, or even just encounter those weird corners that we have in Australia. And that's what you're getting here. So it's a sacrifice that you do need to make with absolute ride comfort in the city, but if you do spend some time on country roads, then you'll appreciate the fact that this doesn't move around too much in terms of body control. They say with a full tank, 70-litre tank, and the battery all the way charged all the way up, you've got about 1,250 kilometres of real-world range. That's quite impressive, even better than a lot of the old diesels that used to be out, you know, a couple of years ago. You get about 1,000 kilometres out of those quite easily. So 1,250 in the real world, I think that's going to be very useful for most families out there that want to do some road tripping and so on. So first impressions, look, I'm actually pretty impressed. The drive system seems to be very well sorted. It manages that power, and it is a lot of power, so it is good to see they've spent some time to fine tune it and make sure it's safe, distributing torque where it needs it most at any given time. Performance, yeah, I think it's going to be pretty quick down the quarter mile and all of that. It does seem to be a bit slower as the battery level drops, which I find with a lot of these plug-in hybrids. Not so much with EVs, but plug-in hybrids. So yeah, it might be a little bit slower with the battery down at sort of at 28% at the moment. But I'll make sure that the battery is much higher for the performance test that we'll do it coming up. Technology is great. I think there's no question about the capability of this technology, the touchscreen and all of that. If you do like this kind of stuff, then that's going to be impressive to you. I think the screen is too big, and at night time, you know, it's just too bright. Even when you do have it on the dimmest setting, it's just a lot of light there. Like if you get a TV or the best TV in the world and turn it right down, it's just a lot of LEDs. Like there's a lot of light there no matter what. And the fact that everything is in that screen, or almost everything is in that screen, is a little bit annoying to me. Rear seat space is good for the middle row, but it's not the best for the third row. So if you are looking for absolute third row space, this is not your vehicle. 7 years warranty is good, but overall the price, $59,990, something like that, that is an excellent price for this package. You won't get close to that with any of the established rivals. You just have to look at the other new coming brands to see if they have something that's similar. So for absolute value, yeah, this has to be at least one you should check out. Resale value is probably not going to be that good, but again, you're getting other things that kind of compensate for that, like the performance and the low price to begin with. I'll have more specs and so on in the written review linked in the description of this video. Let's go off now and do the performance test and see what it goes like.